You are watching an episode of Teacher Techie. This episode has been recorded and aired for your viewing convenience. We encourage viewers to use the comment section for your insights and queries. The BUCE College Student Council will gladly respond to your comments. We also encourage everyone to share this episode to your colleagues and friends. You can check out the rest of our Teacher Techie content via our social media accounts after the episode.
Our Heavenly Father, the fount of all goodness and grace, the cause of wisdom, the source of intelligence, we welcome you, O Lord, to this auspicious gathering of your beloved, who continuously give you thanks for every opportunity to learn something new and become fruitful to the works of your creation. We humbly come to you, not because we are worthy, but because we find ourselves in need of you, who is our strength and our hope, to continue despite the challenges we face in health, prosperity, and our solidarity with one another. We pray that today's gathering, made possible by the grace of advancements in technology and social media, becomes successful in its endeavors, so we can offer it back to you as our humble offering to honor you, glorify you, and love you through our deeper connection with everyone. May we find bliss in today's session and become more productive children and co-creators of the earth. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Magiliw, pelas ng silanganan, anak ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisili. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit na baga, may nilagang tulad, awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ng matawat mo'y tagumpay na nanenene. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may magdidili. Lupa ng harangan, bakit pagsinta mo'y langit sa piling mo? Aming ligaya na pamay mga apay ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Welcome to another episode of Teacher Techie. I am Kenneth De La Cruz, your host for this series. I hope you're all excited for another session of and insight on the different ICT tools that we can use right now. Before we get into another episode, let's have a quick recap of our previous episode.
Share with you Canva for Education.
Just as Xerox is already synonymous to photocopy, and Google is to searching online, PowerPoint is surely synonymous to our slideshow presentations. Continuing on our Microsoft Word episode, let's learn to make the most of our everyday presentation software. Let's see what PowerPoint has to offer on device and on the web with more tips, tricks, features, and add-ons you can use to spice up your slideshows. It's time to add more power to prove a point. I would like to call in now Kyla Marie Pusing, our Junior Counselor from the Ways and Means Committee, to introduce to us our guest speaker for today's session.
Thank you, Kenneth. I am honored today to introduce our guest speaker for today's Teacher Techie episode. Mr. Dennis J. Gumboc is a junior high school teacher at Imus National High School at SDO Imus City. He has been the school ICT coordinator since 2019. Mr. Gumboc is currently finishing his Master's in Industrial Education degree at TUP Manila. As a young educator and learner, he is always ready to take on challenges, which lead him to learning and growing in the field of technology. He's a speaker, a coach and trainer, layout artist, a video editor, and more. He has also conducted seminars, trainings, and has been a resource person for different educational technology-related topics. He also earned several awards and certificates in the division and regional levels. He's a Google Certified Educator Level 1, Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert, Microsoft Office Specialist on PowerPoint, and Microsoft Certified Educator and Trainer holder. Everyone, let us give a virtual round of applause to Sir Dennis J. Gumboc.
Marhay na aldaw sa Indogabos. Muli, ako nga po pala si Mr. Dennis J. Gumboc, teacher from Imus National High School, Schools Division Office of Imus City. And today, we will discuss a certain application that I truly know that most of us already using it, not only about reporting but also in our demonstration teaching. So welcome to our episode 4 of the Teacher Techie. Microsoft PowerPoint 104, how to add more power to your presentation. So in this session, we all know that the Microsoft PowerPoint can able to create, edit, and enhance our presentations and slideshows. But the question is, what are those tips and tricks that you can give to us, sir, to improve our presentation? For this session, we are about to discuss creating icon arts in GIFs, import and insert a document slides, insert summary zoom, hyperlink, and etc. So let's start first by having this activity. I want you to have to guess the icon. So what you're going to do is literally, you need to guess what icon will be formed just using the following shapes. So I will give you 45 seconds to give me any wild guess or at least an idea ano ang mabubuo once I start putting all together those all shapes that is available in this screen or in this platform. Okay po? So you may give any wild guess on what a specific thing that you can observe or you can form by just having these shapes and lines. In this case, you can observe that you can also start working with the icon art, especially when you want to conduct an activity for the interaction between you and your participants. Ayan po. So I keep on seeing some comments in our meeting chat. Okay, so time's up. The answer here will be, yan, ano pong nabuo natin? Very good. So we call it as offensive. So just using the Microsoft PowerPoint, you can simply create your own icon art by providing different shapes and icons. So moving forward, let's have this one. So what do you think can be formed just using the lines and the shapes available on the screen? So, papansin nyo, parang dumami siya. Sir, nagkaroon ng dalawang equation kapag pinagsama-sama. Ano kaya mabubuo dito? Okay po, so 45 seconds po muli. You can send once again your answers or your wild guess para naman po kahit pa paano we can have an interaction during this session. Okay, last 10 seconds. Ayan, just keep on sending your wild guess in our meeting chat. Okay, very good. So this is example of a telescope. So can you imagine that you can create different artworks just providing the following shapes? Ayan, so that is the second icon that we have. Third icon. Ayan po, what icon will be formed using the following shapes. Yan po. Any wild guess? Medyo siguro yung iba dito ay tricky, pero ang hint natin, ginagamit natin ito kapag madilim. Okay, ayun isa sa mga hint natin. Kumbaga, sa isang lugar, when we are about to write, tapos medyo madilim ang area, we start looking for this object. Okay, the answer here is, okay, very good. The answer here is a lampshade. So lampshade literally composed of the different shapes and lines. Okay, last icon. Yan, ano kaya nang bubuo ko po dito? Just providing a rounded rectangle, ayan, a circle, the curve line, and others. Ayan po, sige po. Just keep your answers in our meeting chat or keep on sending your answers in our meeting chat so that I can have an idea or at least meron kayong participation during our session. Okay, so kung kanina we're talking about telescope, ngayon naman we're talking about the microscope. So in here, in this activity, I want you to realize that even just using a Microsoft PowerPoint, you can create different icon arts or different artwork just using the following available features. And what are the tips and tricks you can give, sir, to us when creating an icon art? So literally, tip number 1 is you can easily modify a shape in PowerPoint by editing points. So in this case, you can able to modify to the design or the shape a certain thing working with the editing points. So for example, I want to insert a certain shape like a circle. Circle can be found literally in the Insert tab. So we have the oval here and I start working with the oval. And as you can observe, the oval part here ay gusto natin i-modify. How? Just clicking right click and then edit points. Edit points will be available once you click it and now you can modify the different corners, I think, okay, the points of a certain shapes. For example, I want to modify these shapes into something that can be useful for my next artwork. Ayan po. So for example, so we can shake or change the color of it based on your preference and also make it in no outline, for example. So that's how you can able to edit the editing points. Now, if I'm going to delete this, for example, what will be the thing that I need to do, sir, once I already completed the different shapes? Now, click the next slide and then go to the transition tab and click morph. So morph is very useful in this way. Why? Because it moved things on the previous slides to their new locations on the current slides. So as you can observe, if you're going to utilize more in the presentation, you will have a result like this. So, makikita nyo na parang pinagsama-sama yung mga icon. Kasi the following shapes will be located on this area. Parang ang nangyari, nag-morph talaga siya and totally nag-combine siya to each other. That's the number one trick. Now, other than that is literally turning on the ruler and grid lines when making a PowerPoint art. So it will help you be more accurate in adjusting your shapes and align it perfectly. So, where can I find the ruler and the grid lines? In the View tab, you can observe that you can see here a ruler, check, and also you need to check the grid lines. What is the function or the purpose of the grid lines? Literally, if you want to create a certain theme and have a guidelines, you can have a grid lines. Okay po? So that's the idea. Now, kung kayo naman ay panatag na hindi gumamit ng grid lines, pwede naman po. You just need to uncheck this one. And then, you can have your icon art as much as possible. Okay? So, kapag dito, mapapansin nyo, that you can also create a GIF. Bakit po, sir? When you start working with your art, literally, you start working with the animations. For example, this part of the slide, you can see here that is a combination of different lines, shapes, and others. So, kung mapansin nyo, this is combination of lines. Ito naman yung shapes ko. And then another shape here. Ayan, kapag tinanggal ko to. And another shape here. So, meaning, the limitation that you have is your own imagination. Now, how are we going to create a GIF from this part? So, for example, I just need to copy this one para hindi na tayo masyado magtagal. And then, create a new slide presentation. Then, click copy. In this part, you can see na nakopya ko yung kabuuan po niya, di ba? Ang next na mangyayari sa atin is, you need to create a GIF kahit nasa Microsoft PowerPoint lang. So, meaning po pala, sir, dati, namumblema kami in finding different GIFs. Pero ngayon, we can create a Microsoft or we can create a GIF or moving object just using our PowerPoint presentation. The answer is yes, as long as the objects compose or already had the different animations. So for example, if you're already done working with the animation, we can now click File, Save As, you can click Browse, and then during the PowerPoint presentation, you may now select here Animated GIF. And now look for a folder. For example, it will be named as a book. Then click Save. GIF already exists in my part, so I will just click Yes here. Now, after we have it saved, ito na po ang sunod na mangyayari. So, hahanapin ko siya dito sa aking folder. And makikita niyo dito na aking files, which is book, dapat makikita dito na gumagalaw ang aking object. Ayan. So, I already created a GIF copy of my presentation here. So, hindi na ako masyado namumblema sa paggawa po ng aking po mga GIF. Bakit po? Kasi nga po, the main idea is you can able to create your own GIF as much as possible kahit hindi kayo knowledgeable in using Adobe Illustrator or other platforms. Ayan, just using your Microsoft PowerPoint. So that's how you can create your own GIF. Now, moving forward, for the tip number 3 is using the curve tool. So literally, the power of the curve tool allows you to curve or modify a shape into a more specified and customized one. So once again, the icon art that we are just discussing right now is just an introductory. So your imagination is your limit. So in this case, this is just my own imagination on how I think those objects can be formed from one shape to another. Okay? So, moving forward, let's talk about now import and insert Word document and slides. In this case, if you want to import a certain Word document, you don't need to open the file itself. Diba dati ang ginagawa natin is we try to input a certain folder or a certain content from a Word document in our presentation. Now, just using the import and insert portion, you can now reuse the certain outline of the Word document. And how are you going to do that? In the import document, let's have this example. In the navigation pane, for example, this is my file. Select number 7. So select the slide that appears before the location. So in this case, I select number 7 in my photo. And then, in the Home tab or Insert tab, you can see here a word New Slide. After you see the new slide, you can now see slide from the outline. And then, you may now select the Word document that you want to input. So, bakit po tayong gumagamit po ng ganito? For example, if I just want to insert a certain part of the presentation, for example, we have this one. I will just create or copy this slide. And then, what will be the first step? I will go to Home, then New Slides, then Slides from Outline. Once again, we are not opening any Word document. What we're going to do is just import the Word document itself. So for example, I have a Word document available here. I will just click it and then insert. So let's take a look. I'll take a look what will happen next. Ayan po. So already included in our presentation the version of the Word document. So kung mapapansin nyo, hindi masyado nasunod yung format. So what I'm going to do is I can simply change it, the design or the background of this specific slide. Okay, I will just make it in blue para readable. So that's the idea of importing the Word document file. So you're not opening the Word document itself. You just need to import it immediately. So that is one tips and tricks that you can utilize when working your own presentation. After we had our importing of the Word document, let's move on inserting slides. Isa sa mga problema natin when we are about to copy a certain portion in other slide documents ay naiiba yung format, isn't it? Bakit po? Kasi ina-adapt nung luma yung bagong theme or motif doon sa mismong slide na pinaglalagyan nyo. So for example, if I have a slide deck na katulad nito, and then I need to copy a certain portion of slide here, and when I click this, copy, and paste this one, mapapansin nyo that there will be some changes on its format. So, bakit po? Kasi nga po, inadapt niya yung theme na meron dun sa present documents. Ngayon, what we're going to do is literally to get the specific slide without damaging its format. And how we're going to do that? Same way, go to Home or Insert tab and then click Reuse Slides. When you click Reuse Slides, you can simply browse here the specific PowerPoint presentation that you want to copy. So for example, I have here the augmented reality. Now, afterwards, you can see here the set of slides available on that specific document. So for example, I will select slide number 1. Ngayon, after we had this one, you can simply check literally the different format by having the following. Ayan. So, hindi nag-a-adjust. Bakit po? Kasi nakaklik ako in using the source formatting. So, literally, yung format niya doon sa unang documents ay makakopya lang po. Okay? I hope we are clear in this matter. So, let's move on providing or inserting the slides. So, katulad ng sinabi natin kanina, may nakita tayo dito na reuse slides, select the slides, and the use of formatting or use source formatting. Now, moving forward, let's have what do we call as insert summary zoom. Maybe some of you already familiar with the summary zoom, but let's take a look on how we are about to create our own summary zoom. Kanina mapapansin nyo na there are some instances where in which ang aking presentation ay nag-zoom in, zoom out in a different portion. Now, how are you going to do that po ba, sir? For example, let's open a file about the basic word skills that I have here. So in this presentation, I want to have the different sectionings. For example, I want to section this first, the slides in which consists of the same category. Halimbawa, itong slide number 3 ko at slide number 7 is composition of a how to spot fake news. So I will select those slides, right click, and then add section. And then for example, lalagay kong section name is how to spot fake news. Then rename. Ibig sabihin, itong section mula sa 3 pababa will be considered as spot fake news. Ngayon, baba pa ko onte. Itong slide number 8 ko hanggang slide number 17 is a composition of online content resources. So same idea, I just need to click this one and then select hanggang saang slide siya and then right click, then add section. Then I will just put here online content resources. Then rename. And same idea to the next slides. Ngayon, the next thing that you need to do is to create a blank slide. So right click po natin to, for example, then new slides. And then afterwards, in the insert tab, you can see here the zoom links. So click po, then summary zoom, and then automatically you can see here the different slides available in your presentation. For example, yung mga nakaselect po dito na check is your section names. Doon nagsisimula. But the question is, sir, paano po kapag may gusto po kong idagdag na sections? Kaya lang hindi ko na siya mabalikan. What you're going to do is simply select the slide na gusto nyo pang isama. For example, slide 20, slide 22, and slide 24. Then, insert. Let's take a look what will happen. Ayan, so makikita nyo po dito na meron tayo different slides na available na. So, i-adjust lang natin yung size. Ayan po. And then, what will happen next? Okay, slideshow natin. At mapapansin nyo po that there will be a zoom in of our summary. So, kapag ni-next ko ito, for example, babalik siya doon sa part na kung saan ay mag-zoom out siya para naman doon sa susunod po na section na pindot natin. So, this is one way for you to have your summary of your slide. So, kung sa tingin nyo, yung inyong slide is composed of different topics or subtopics, you can have your summary zoom. Para kahit paano, they have the idea na, okay, ayun nga pala yung na-previous namin na-discuss. Okay, ayun pala yung mismong summary or summarized version ng aking pong na-discuss. So that is one way for you to have your summary zoom. You can also try others. So it can be a section zoom or slide zoom. So it's up to you on how you're about to utilize this one. It's somehow like a Prezi. Diba? In Prezi, if you're already using Prezi presentation, the zoom portion of the different parts of the slideshows. So that is the idea of the insert summary zoom. So once again, you can go to insert, then go to the zoom, and then click summary zoom. So itong portion na to, I hope hindi tayo masyado mabilis. Try to review this portion so that you have an idea on different summary zooms. Okay? Now, moving forward is what do we call as the insert hyperlinks. Insert hyperlinks allows you to navigate different items inside your presentations. For example, we have here a file in which I call it as a types of virtual reality. So what I'm going to do is I need to select the item that I want or you want to have a hyperlink. So for example, in this slide, you can observe that the selected item ay yung mapa. Okay po. Yung mapa, ang idea, dun papasok yung hyperlink. And what will be the next step after I select it? You can go to Insert tab and then click Links Group. Ayan. So katabi siya ng summary zone. And then afterwards, you can see this dialog box in your presentation. So for example, let's take a look on this. So if I have this copy of the presentation, for example, this one, the augmented reality. Ito yung example natin. If I want this button or I want this icon to become a button, I will just click this and then select. Afterwards, pupunta tayo kay Insert tab and then go to Link. So once again, you can link it into other document files or you can insert a link into other slides. So for example, you can have the link in the existing file or web page. You can place it in this document. For example, gusto ko kapag pinindot ko yun, mapupunta ako sa slide number 9. For example, and then click OK. Ayan. So, there will be some instances, okay, na kung saan ay maaari din naman ikaw mag-open ng document file. So, for example, select ulit tayo ng bagong icon and then go to Insert and then Link. Then, Insert Link. You can create a new document, email address, or just look for the existing file. For example, just have this AR apps. Okay. So when I have this one, let's take a look on how you're about to navigate the items. So kapag in-over ko, tinapat ko yung aking pong cursor doon po sa icon, you can see here that there will be some changes about your cursor. So magkakaroon siya ng clickable mouse cursor. So what you're going to do is click this one and then automatically magpo-position doon sa inyo pong piniling slide number. So that's how you insert the hyperlinks. Sometimes, okay, we utilize hyperlinks to create a gamified activity. For example, if you want to create a gamified presentation, so you can try to utilize the hyperlinks. Okay, that's the idea. Now, the other one that I have here is to open a certain document file. So when I click this one, there will be a document file that will be open based on the navigated documents na meron tayo. For example, yan, this one. Kung nakikita nyo po yung ating pong slide na kung saan ay na-open yung ating pong document just clicking it. So those how you can navigate your hyperlinks. There are so many ways on how you can operate your slides, not just only next and back. Parang kung gusto nyo na mas marami pa, you can have it via different hyperlinks. I hope na ang part po na ito ay malinaw po sa ating lahat because now we will move on to our presenter's coach. But before that, meron po ba muna kayong tanong or some queries? Just send it in our meeting chat muna. Okay po? Then later on, ay sasagutin po natin. Now, another feature of the Microsoft Office is what do we call as the presenter's coach. If we are very critical or very doubtful on our ways on how we deliver our presentation at nahihiya po kayong makipagtulungan o humingi ng tulong sa ibang tao, the PowerPoint can offer you a powerful feature that helps you to prepare in private to give more effective presentation. So the presenter coach will give you different advices on how you can deliver your presentation without asking other people to observe you para sa inyo pong preparation sa demonstration teaching or during the reporting. So what we're going to do is utilization of the presenter's coach. So for example, I'm currently teaching a grade 10 students and my topic here is conditionals. So what we're going to do is literally I need to prepare myself on how we're about to deliver the different definitions and also different functions in the conditionals or the criteria. Now, what you're going to do is go to slideshow and then click rehearse with coach. When you see rehearse with coach, you can see here this portion. There will be available dialog window in which you can see welcome, see live feedback as you rehearse. So when you click start rehearsing, you will see here a signal that you may start talking, and there will show you feedback for your speech here. So for example, okay, I will operate another document file in here, for example, maybe this one, and then go to, okay, go to record, or sorry, go to slideshow, and then rehearse with coach. Ayan, so you can see here that it's already in the presenter slide, and then I will now click here start rehearsing. So start talking and show your feedback. So for example, how to spot fake news. The sources is International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions. So now, first thing is consider the source. Click away from the story to investigate the site, its mission, and its contact information. If you're going to have the different ways of considering the sources, you may also look for the different links of it. So that is one way for you to consider the source. There are some that might utilize, ayan. So kung mapansin nyo, try to not use too many fillers like So in that case, the presenter's coach allows you to to give you feedback, okay? Para hindi kayo masyado maging redundant or start working with the different words. Ayan, talagang inuulit-ulit niya sa akin kasi nga lagi ko siya sinasabi. Okay, so that is the idea. For example, you already done browsing and having your script in this part. So what you're going to do is click the post session, okay, and then click escape. And then you will see here automatically your rehearsal report. So for example, the summary, good job rehearsing, keep up the hard work. So how many total time spent that you have in this session, the number of slides rehearsed, the fillers, ayan, to sound more polished, you can see here the fillers. You can also have your repetitive language. So since na short lang naman yung ating presentation, so wala pa siya masyadong nakitang repetitive language. Inclusiveness of the language are excellent. So yan, mga ganong comment. And also the pacing. The pacing part here is the times on how you deliver the words per minute. So since we are just working with this, kung mapapansin nyo, I have 123 words per minute. So it is average number of words na pwede nyo masabi sa bawat minuto. And the average pacing over time, the pitch, and the originality. So all of this, sabi ko nga po sa inyo, if you are preparing and also curious on how you deliver the different slides, try the rehearsal, rehearse or Microsoft PowerPoint Presenter Coach. Para sa gayon, maging confident kayo on how you're about to deliver your respective slides. Okay? So that is the idea of the Microsoft PowerPoint Presenters Course, in which you can also create your own slide number. Okay? So that is the idea of our Presenters Coach. Now, moving forward is also dealing with the screen recording. One of the problems that we might say is how we are going to record our screen. Bakit po, sir? Sometimes, when we are asked to create an audio-visual presentation or a tutorial video of the different step-by-step procedure on how we are about to navigate our screen, ang isa sa mga problema natin is how we are about to record our screen. Mag-i-install pa po ba tayo ng third-party applications? Or I can just simply use the Microsoft PowerPoint. So the answer here is also the Microsoft PowerPoint. if you have a certain issue, for example, if I'm currently teaching computer, for example, I'm currently teaching computer, so in this case, I want to demonstrate to my students on how they're about to identify the specifications of their own devices or laptops or desktops. For example, if I want to record my screen that these are the following steps. So I will just utilize the screen recording in the Microsoft PowerPoint. So I don't need to install any other third-party applications kasi ang common na problem natin is first, the virus. Minsan may sumasamang virus pagdating sa pag-i-install ng mga third-party. So that's why we keep on working with the screen recording in the Microsoft PowerPoint. And also, how we are going to do that, sir? In the Microsoft PowerPoint, you can go to Insert tab, and then you can now go to the screen recording and you will see this part. Ayan, so we have the record pointer in which gusto mong ma-record yung inyo pong cursor, pero kung ayaw nyo ma-record, just uncheck this one or unselect. Pero in my comment or my suggestion, if you are currently teaching on how they can navigate those steps, kailangan guided sila saan ba napupunta yung mouse nyo. So I suggest to click record pointer. And also, we have the audio. The audio part here is your microphone. So kung gusto mong magsalita habang nag-i-screen record, you can choose the audio. Okay? So kung ayaw nyo naman na gamitin ang inyong microphone, for example, you just want to demonstrate it without any voiceover, you can unselect the audio. So that's the idea. Another one is the select area. The select area here is a way for you if you just need to have a portion of the screen. Pero, if you want the full screen, so select the whole screen. But if it is just a portion, then simply have here the select area on that specific portion. Now, we also have the stop, and lastly is the record. So, there will be a 1, 2, 3 timer or countdown rather in having the recording session in the Microsoft PowerPoint. So let's take a look on this. For example, I will start working with my own slide. And then, I will start working on demonstrating kanina nga po on how they can identify the different specifications or the specifications of their laptops or desktops. So what you're going to do is this. Go to Insert tab, Screen Record, and then, same idea, makakakita po kayo ng ganitong portion. And then, I will just select the whole area. Yeah, the whole area of mine. Ngayon, as part of the activity, ang gusto ko pong mangyari is, I just want them to know the different steps on identifying the specifications. So, what I'm going to do is to start recording. Yan po. So start recording, there will be a 3 seconds countdown, and then for example, I will now start working with my tutorial. Okay, good morning class. Today we're about to have the identification or how we can identify the laptop specifications of yours. So first step is go to the Windows tab or start menu and then type dxdiag. So this way you can have here a dxdiag run command, and then just wait for a moment, and then there will be a dialog box asking that dxdiag has detected there might be a problem, etc. So kindly click yes. Okay, now in this case you can see here your current date time, your computer name, your operating system, the system model, the processor, the memory, and others. So that is the easiest way on how we can about to detect the technical specifications of our own computer. I hope that you learned something for today for this session. So if you already done recording the screen, you can now click here stop, and automatically the video will be put inside your slide. So, hindi nyo na kailangan problema in terms of installing your own presentation or installing a third-party application in screen recording. Kasi when I click this presentation, and then it will be served as a video. Will 3 seconds countdown, and then for example, I will now start working with my tutorial. Okay, good morning class. Today we're about to have the identification or how we can identify the laptop specifications of yours. So first step is go to the Windows tab or start menu and then type dxdiag. So this way you can have here a dxdiag run command. Ayan po. So that's the idea of this screen recording. Just like what I said, if you want to start working with recording your screen because you want to demonstrate a certain skill, yan, doon papasok po yung ating pong screen recording ng Microsoft PowerPoint. Diba, it's just an easy way for you to at least not installing too much application in your respective laptops. I know that you're already experiencing some corruption of your files because you need to do a lot of works. So that is one way for you to utilize this one. Okay, so that is the recording session. And last activity or last slides that we are about to discuss is the record slideshow. So kanina, we had our screen recording. So literally, nire-record niya lang yung screen nyo. But in the record slideshows is allowing you to create a video tutorial on how we are about to discuss your lesson. So you can record narrations in cursor, pointer, gestures, slides, and animation timings for playback. Now, paano po namin gagawin po yun, sir? So, go to our menu. Okay po. Puntahan na po natin yung presentation natin. For example, this one, the augmented reality. By default, your screen recording, your PowerPoint slide recording show is not available in your default Microsoft PowerPoint. Ngayon, sir, paano nyo po malalaman? Kasi dapat meron kayong record tab. Ayan, kung nakikita nyo sa inyong screen, dapat meron kayong records tab. Ngayon, ang tanong, sir, paano po kapag walang record tab? Go to File, then go to Options, then afterwards, we have Customize Ribbon. And then, you need to select or check this one. Kasi by default, hindi siya naka-check. Okay po, that's the idea. You need to check this one and then click OK. Then, makikita nyo na itong portion ng tab na to. And then, click the record from the beginning. You can see here this item or this window. So, as you can observe, in our slide, that there will be in the lower part, alright, lower left corner, slide number 1 of 13, in which there is a 2 item here. Number 1 is literally the time per slide, and also doon naman sa right side is the total number of times for the whole presentation. Ngayon, you can also see here a laser pointer. Ayan, pwede nyo gamitin. And also you can have this pencil or the pen and also the highlighter. For example, I want to highlight this one. So I can do this by just having the ink writer. And then, you can choose any color from the following. So that is the idea. Ngayon, other than that, is literally you can have the eraser tool. So you just need to erase this one if you want to erase it. Afterwards, you can see also here the audio. Mapapansin nyo po, you can turn on your microphone off or turn it on or off. Same idea with your camera. For example, sir, medyo nahihiya po kasi ako. Ayoko pong isama po ang aking pumuka. What you're going to do is just simply select this one and then turn it off. Pero sir, may maririnig pa rin po ba sila? The answer is yes. Bakit? Because your microphone is turned on. Ayan. So that is the idea of that. So, yung portion po na yon is allowing you to at least, to choose whether you just need to have the audio file or your video presentation or a camera itself. So that is the idea. Next thing is your settings. Settings of your microphone and also your camera. So kung mapapansin nyo, pasensya na, medyo gabi kasi ako nag-record, so kaya may ilaw ako sa likuran. But the idea is, syempre, you need to have a good quality of your camera, and also we have the good lighting para medyo maganda yung pagpasok niya sa inyong camera. And also, you can clear the other records available in the all slides or the current slides. And since wala pa naman siyang recording, so wala tayong masaselect dito. How about the notes? Notes literally is your guide. For example, hindi po ako masyadong magaling sir mag-adlib eh. So halimbawa ay gusto ko po yung sasabihin ko po ay script. May script akong susundin or may spiel. You can have the notes. So in that case, you can be able to at least na nakafocus do sa mga sasabihin mo at hindi pa ligoy-ligoy na mangyayari sa inyong presentation. So that is the idea of the note. Now, if you already set up those things already, you can now click here, record. So let's take a look here, dito po sa baba, record. So there will be also 3, 2, 1 timer. So let's start augmented reality and virtual reality. Now, yun. We have also the lesson 1, the lesson 2, the lesson 3, 4, and 5. So in this case, you can observe na yung timer natin dito sa kaliwa is for the specific slide lang. Tapos ito naman sa kanan natin yung mismong total. Kaya pansinin nyo, bumabalik siya sa 0. Yung nasa kaliwa. Bakit po? Kasi nga po, ito ay specific lamang para do sa slide na yan. So that is the idea of the record slideshow. So for example, is identify the different platforms for augmented and virtual reality and demonstrate knowledge on how to utilize the different applications. So for example, you already done having the recording. So you can now click pause or stop. So, kapag in-escape ko siya, mapapansin nyo po na nandito na po yung video po na aking pong mukha. Ayan. Nandito na po yung screen recording na aking mukha. So, in this part, ayan, pwede nyo siyang i-adjust, pwede nyo siyang ipalit sa posisyon, at kung ano-ano pa ang gusto nyo kung nais. So, wala pong problema kung ano po ang gusto nyo gawin. But still, the idea is, it will be saved on your first slide. So, for example, I will play this one. Augmented reality and virtual reality. Now, yun. Ayan. So, makapansin nyo, no? Lesson 1, the lesson 2, the lesson 3, 4, and 5. So, in this case, you can observe na yung timer natin. Ayan. So, napansin nyo ba na meron tayong changes na nangyayari? So, that is the idea of the screen recording. Ngayon, in this screen recording, in the record slideshow pasensya na po, stand corrected. In the record slideshow, you can also observe na kapag pangit yung sinabi mo dun sa isang slide, you don't need to repeat everything. So, halimbawa, sir, parang mali po ata yung nasabi ko sa slide number 2. Tapos, uulitin ko po ba siya ulit? Siyempre, nakakapagod. Kaya ang gagawin nyo lang is simply delete this one and then record from the current slide. Para yung current slide lang na yon ang inyo pong re-recordan. Okay po ba tayo doon? I hope I am clear with this part. Bakit po? Ito ang kagandahan pagdating kay Microsoft PowerPoint. If you are not confident on a specific slide lang na part, hindi nyo kailangan ulitin lahat. Kailangan nyo lang siya i-delete at i-record siya from the current slide. Then, afterwards, for example, you already done recording yourself. What will be the next step? You can save it or export it to video. When I say create a video, so literally it will generate a video by having your face. Ayan po. So, ayun yung mangyayari. Para kayo nagre-render ng video. Kaya lang, you don't need to install a third-party application on it. So, ibig sabihin po pala sir, just using my Microsoft PowerPoint, I can enjoy the different features available. I can enjoy the presenter coach, I can enjoy the screen recording, or even the record slideshow. Those things are already available in the Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay po ba tayo doon? So, wala tayong magiging problema in terms of the PowerPoint. If you just need to explore any other features of it, you can contact me, or you may also ask other students or your fellow students to assist you if possible. So, that is the idea of the different PowerPoint tools that you can also utilize in your own respective classes or respective demonstration teaching. Okay? Now, last part of the presentation, siningit ko lang tong part na to because I want to input this one, is the embedding fonts. One of the problems that we might encounter in sharing our resources is the compatibility of our downloaded fonts, isn't it? For example, ako kasi yung tipo ng tao na hindi ako kontento do sa available fonts lang na meron ako do sa aking default. Ang ginagawa ko, I keep on downloading and installing different fonts from the internet. Ngayon, ang problema, when I share my slides to my fellow educators or my students, sabihin nila, sir, hindi po namin mabasa po kasi meron po compatibility issue about the font that I installed in my own laptops. Kasi nga po, hindi naka-install yung font na yun doon sa ibang laptop. Ngayon, meron po ba siyang resolva o meron po ba siyang solution na pwede nyo po mabahagi, sir? The answer is yes. And how we are going to do that? In the embedding fonts, go to File tab, and then you can go to Options, and then afterwards you can see here Save. Yung save portion na yon, you can see this portion in which we have the embed fonts in that file. Ngayon, we have two options. Embed only the characters in the presentation, so meaning you're just sharing the documents to the fellow educators or your fellow students, and then hindi nila dapat na i-edit yun. So kapag in-edit nila yung masisira na yung format. So ganun ang idea natin sa first option. Doon naman sa second option, which is embed all characters, this is best for editing by other people. So in this case, kung gusto nating ipa-edit yung ating pong document doon po sa ating pong kasamahan, tapos, ang mangyayari, isa-send natin sa kanila, you can embed all characters para kapag nag-input sila, hindi masisira yung format. So, that's how you can embed fonts. Hindi na tayo mamumblema, sir, huwag po kayo gumamit ng mga downloaded fonts kasi po hindi po siya compatible. No, because you can now embed fonts in the Microsoft PowerPoint. So, I hope I am clear with this session. I hope hindi tayo masyadong mabilis at malinaw po ang pagkaka-explain ko sa bawat features. Once again, there are so many features na pwede nyo pang ma-enjoy just using the Microsoft PowerPoint. And before I end this session, I just want to share this quotation with you with Seymour Papert. You can teach people everything they need to know. The best thing that you can do is position them where they can find what they need to know when they need to know it. Ayan po. So that is the idea on why we are conducting this session. Hindi ko maituturo ang lahat na kailangan nyo po matutunan. But I am pointing and we'll start working on this part of the Microsoft PowerPoint to ensure that at least you have earned different skills and maximizing the utilization of this platform. So, hindi lang natin siya nakikita into the slideshows or into animation, but also dealing with other features on it. That ends my presentation. Mabalos po sa oportunidad na tinao nindo sa ako na ako makashare kandiit kung kaaraman. Muli, to the Executive Chair of the Teacher Techie, Mr. Cari Dominic Abuero, the BUCE College Student Council College, Dr. Jocelyn Goyena, and Bicol University College of Education Dean, Dr. Lorna Minya, for the invitation, and to the rest of our participants, which is our future educators. I hope that you learned something today, and looking forward to apply these skills into your PowerPoint presentation, not only during your reporting but also in dealing your demonstration teaching. So muli, maraming salamat po and God bless everyone.
That was a very informative session for today's episode. I hope you've now added this learning to your PowerPoint skill set. What insights have you learned from the episode? Let us know in the comments. When we return, we will entertain a selection of questions dropped during our registration. Stick around, we'll be right back. We're back, and I hope you're back as well to join us in the next segment of our episode. I now give the virtual floor to our Teacher Techie Executive Head, Mr. Kari Dominic Abihuro, for this episode's Tech Talk.
Good afternoon once again, everyone. And of course, let's welcome back sa ating episode si Sir Dennis Gumboc, ang ating resource speaker for this episode. Sir, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon, Kari.
Ayan. Sir, I've had the chance na panoorin muna beforehand yung lecture, and I have to say, I really like the lecture. Ako, matagal na gumagamit ng PowerPoint, but I still learned something new. Nag-upgrade na yung PowerPoint compared nung una nating nakita. So, sir, ready ka na po sa ating mga questions na hinanda ng ating mga participants?
Yes, ready na tayo para masagot natin yung mga queries nila.
Ayan. Sige, sir. Simulan ko muna, sir. This relates po sa inyong background po, with your experience na kayo po ay isang Microsoft certified trainer and educator, and at the same time, office specialist. So, kasi previously, may na-invite rin kami si Ma'am Jinky Ado na she is also an MIE, Microsoft Innovative Educator. So, I would like to ask first, sir, na ano po yung what pushed you to become a Microsoft Certified Trainer and Educator? Tapos, diretso na paano nangyari yung Office Specialist na purely PowerPoint? Sige po, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Kari. Actually, nung pre-pandemic kasi, ang pangarap ko is maka-attend ng mga seminars focuses on the different education technology applications. Pero, napapansin ko more on principles sila, more on theoretical, and I'm not that kind of person. So, napaisip ako, saan kaya ako pwedeng pumunta at para ma-equip ko yung sarili ko doon sa mga tools na yon. And luckily, simula nung pandemic, napakadaming pre-webinars na kinoconduct na ng different mga organizations and even the DepEd and the DICT, which I truly love kasi tinuro nila yung mga ganong klaseng applications na kung saan ay talagang realistic yung approach and more on hands-on. In that case, na-discover ko dun yung Microsoft Education Center, yung community namin na kung saan you can learn so many applications related to the Microsoft productivity tools. And I'm so lucky na through that specific platform, I met different trainers and also different mentors. Actually, the Microsoft of my mentors is Mel Reyes, in which na-push niya ako to learn more about the Microsoft Certified Trainer and the Educator. Dumaan ako sa proseso na kung saan, first, I become a Microsoft Innovative Educator muna. Tapos sabi ko, paano kaya yung level up portion? Then I found out the Microsoft Innovative Educator Trainer sa EduTrack ng Microsoft. Diba? So, merong process. Tapos, mga sumunod na buwan, na-curious ako. At may nakita kong post about the Microsoft Innovative Educator expert na kung saan it is a global recognition to all the Microsoft experts or Microsoft Innovative Educators around the world na kung saan ay kinoconsider nila yung mga different endeavors natin in dealing with the technology. Tapos, the Microsoft, actually, I'm so lucky enough because the Microsoft provided us 2 vouchers last year. 2 vouchers focuses on the MOS, which is the Microsoft Office Specialist, and the Microsoft Certified Educator. So, pinapili nila kami doon. And one of those things na na-meet ko, sabi ko nga po kanina, is my mentor, Ma'am Email, through the line learning. So, sa line learning ako nagpa-assess to become a Microsoft Office Specialist PowerPoint Associate and also the Microsoft Certified Educator. Some of us will say, Sir, saan po ba nanggaling po lahat yan? Sabi ko nga po kanina, I learned a lot from the education.microsoft.com. So kindly go to that link. Doon po kayong pwedeng makahanap na iba pa pong mga tools para po matutunan nyo yung mga bagay na natutunan ko rin po ngayon. At the same time, ay you as a future educators and our participants ay maumpisahan nyo na sa ngayong araw na ito or sa mga susunod nating mga pagkikita. Parang sa gayon, when you enter the profession or the teaching profession, you are now very equipped. Ayan, equipped and capable to teach others and most especially our students in dealing those applications. So ayun yung isa siguro masasabi kong summary ng journey ko. Pero sabi ko nga po since the pandemic, so can you imagine parang 1 year or almost 2 years na yung ganitong process. So it's a long run. Be patient lang talaga.
Opo. And I think yun yung parang, yun sir, yun yung kagandahan ng pandemic na yung mga opportunities talagang nag-rise. Yung mga webinar session kaya like this one, naisipan rin namin na if this is the best that we can help bilang College Student Council, so why not? Tulungan natin yung mga kasama namin na magiging future teacher na ano yun, yung term nila parang upskilling to truly hone the skills para pag nasa profession na or kami na mag-internship na ay indeed magamit. So thank you sir. Let's proceed sir sa mga questions na talagang that focus on the PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint. The first question here from Marie Chris Cambe. Yeah, this is a common question but I think still important pa rin siyang bigyan ng pansin. Na why is there a need na sa mga teachers and kahit sa aming mga future teachers to know and discover the different features of Microsoft PowerPoint? Ano pong say natin, sir?
As 21st century teachers, we should be equipped enough with the tools we are currently working with. Most especially with these applications na keep on updating. Actually, mapapasabi sila, sir, ang dami mong platforms, but the Microsoft productivity tools such as the Microsoft PowerPoint can offer us more and more features. And as you can observe, because we are dealing with the pandemic and we are dealing with the distance learning, we need to upskill, sabi nyo nga po, we need to upskill yourself and ourselves on working on this platform. Bakit po? Kasi nga po, hindi na pwede yung ginagawa natin noon sa mga estudyante ngayon. Because we are dealing with the 21st century learners. And they are considered as the Generation Z na kung saan kapag plain lang yung presentation natin, it's quite boring to others. So we need to deal on that specific scenario so that when you start working and also doing your specific job, you can now do whatever you want in your own presentation. But just like what I said, it is not just about focuses on one application, but you can also do and integrate other applications as well with the Microsoft PowerPoint. So marami pang pwedeng mangyari sa mga susunod nating mga pagkakataon, lalo na ngayon, napakabilis ng upgrading and updating ng ating po mga Microsoft technology tools.
Opo, I remember kasi yung papa ko yung una nag-introduce sa akin sa PowerPoint, yung panahon pa na yung computer ay hindi pa flat screen, yung mga kahon pa, tapos seeing it na yun, very, very, ano yan, bare bones, na hindi pa ganoon ka diverse ang features. Tapos now, biglang yun, may Office 365, very, integrated na to this current learning setup, yung mga features. Indeed, there is, need talaga na pag-aralan yung mga features. Ang next question here, sir, from Zaira May Arcos, she asks, efficient pa rin po ba ang PowerPoint? I think kasi marami na rin baga, sir, nagsilabasan na ng mga similar software, presentation software, and ayun, I think this is a good question. Efficient pa rin po ba, sir, ang PowerPoint?
Ayan, actually, ayun yung isa sa mga common na tanong. Efficient pa po ba? For me, yes. The Microsoft PowerPoint is one of the most user-friendly application. Let's face the reality. Talagang isa siya sa mga original and hindi siya na-outpace or na-outcast ng mga application. And I might say that the Microsoft PowerPoint is still efficient because you can work with your presentations offline. Actually, if you can see the Microsoft PowerPoint from the 2003 up to 2019 or the Office 365, ay napakalayo na ng gap ko anong nangyaring feature. And in that case, you as a teachers and we as a teachers and future educators like you, ang mangyayari po lagi is hindi naman ibig sabihin na nagamit ka ng PowerPoint or nagamit ka ibang platform ay hindi na siya efficient. Ang gusto natin mangyari is you need to maximize those applications. Bakit po? Even though we are currently working with the other applications, the number one thing na meron pa rin tayo is how you're going to maximize all those things. Sabi ko nga po kanina, you can integrate and there are so many application integration in this time, most especially in the Microsoft productivity tools. One of those, we have the class point. If you're familiar with that, you can now create an interactive PowerPoint presentation. So bakit dati ang hirap gumawa ng isang gamified application or gamified presentation, but now by using an extension, by using other integration application, you can now create different interactive platforms. So in that way, I might say that it is efficient because it keeps on updating and integrating with other platforms. So, dumadami, lumalawak yung mga applications na pwede nyo magamit through the Microsoft PowerPoint.
Ayan, sir. Nako, nabanggit na yung class point, but I think maganda siyang i-open up later sa session. There are a lot of questions here relating dyan sa interactive, engaging aspects. But I think this next question, simple lang sa question. I think maraming pwedeng ways na sagutin, sir. As a teacher, as a student, marami na tayo nakitang PowerPoint presentations throughout the years, reportings, demo teachings. But Mayresa Banawon asks, what is considered a good presentation? So ikaw, sir, anong take natin doon? A good presentation.
Okay. If the presentation itself can be easily understood by our audiences, for me, that is a good presentation. When you're trying to create a certain presentation, we should always consider the different aspects, such as the color of the text, the font or the font style, the graphics, and other elements. Why? Because we are dealing with different people's perspective or personality. So in that case, you will always consider sino bang audiences natin. If the audiences can easily understand what you're talking to just using your PowerPoint presentation, that is a good way for me to be considered as a good presentation. Sir, hindi po kami masyadong gumagamit ng animation. Baka nga po yung iba sobrang animated. It's not about the animation. It's about how you deliver, how you present your presentation. Kasi sometimes, hindi naman maalis sa atin, even me, kahit maganda yung presentation, if the delivery of the presentation is not good, so kung sino yung nagsasalita is not good, parang nawawala yung pagiging maganda niya. Nawawala yung pagiging effective niya. So meaning, yung PowerPoint presentation is just a tool or just a tool for you to utilize. But all in all, it is a combination of the human interaction, which is you as the speaker or the presenter, and also the presentation that you have. So for me, that is one good thing that you may consider in working with a good presentation.
Ayan, sir. Thank you so much. I think that already answers the next question here na from Mary Angela Llaneta. Now, what are the features or qualities of an effective PowerPoint presentation? Indeed, the interaction between the presenter, yung tao, and the audience in the presentation are truly dapat pagbigyan ng pansin for presentations to be effective. And this one, sir, if you want to add to expound po sa ating sagot kanina, nagtatanong si Thomas Madrigaleos III from BEd na how do we enhance or improve our PowerPoint presentations po?
Okay. Mayroon tayo mga aspect to be considered, sabi ko kanina. Ang bibigay ko ngayon siguro ay mga features lang for me that will work as an effective presentation. Una, when we're working with our presentation, we do less words and more on pictures or graphs. Bakit po? Because we avoid putting long paragraphs. If you're the audience and I'm going to copy-paste all the set of words in my presentation, definitely you will find it boring. In that case, or in that time, you will consider na ay pangit tong presentation na to or pangit na tong webinar na to. So, kailangan meron tayong graphics. Why? Because we're also dealing with the multiple intelligences. It's not just about the linguistic, but it's also about the different aspects in the multiple intelligence. And also, we follow the 7x7 rule. Siguro some of you will say, ano yung 7x7 rule? The 7x7 rule is 7 words by 7 lines. So in that case, if you will do some searching, you will see na hindi dapat lahat pala, sir, ay nilalagay sa PowerPoint presentation. And paano natin masasabi na hindi dapat? Una, dapat bulleted list lang siya. And then, sabi ko nga po, we followed the 7 words by 7 lines. So that is the ideal, ideal presentation na meron dapat kayo. And also, avoid fancy fonts. One way na nako-consider or one way na iniisip natin is napaka-boring ng mga fonts na available by default inside the library of the PowerPoint. And then, we try to add or to download or install fancy fonts. So, meaning yung mga dikit-dikit, cursive, ayan. Kasi, sir, parang maganda siya. But let's consider, sino ba ang ating audiences? Gaano ba karaming ating audiences? Gaano kalayo ba ang ating audiences? Now, we are dealing with the pandemic, which is the online delivery. Paano kapag nasa face-to-face na ulit? Hindi tayo matutuwa kung ang ating font ay sobrang maarte or decorative. So, we avoid the fancy fonts. And also, for me, I always avoid using flashy transitions, such as text in fly-ins. Yung tipong umiikot, tapos babagsak doon sa presentation, tapos may ikot ulit, babagsak doon sa presentation, o kaya naman biglang may aangat, may biglang lilitaw. For me, one of the ways na pwede natin consider maybe is, what sabi ko nga, is our audiences. Kung ating audiences ay medyo may edad or medyo malabo ang mata, hindi sila matutuwa pagdating sa mga flashy transitions. So meaning, we might consider those people. And also, we use good quality images. Minsan, hindi naman natin may iwasan yun. Minsan, ang ginagawa natin, we download photos from the internet. But we also consider that it should be in a high quality. Mamaya kasi blurred naman pala yung picture o kaya naman watermark pa. So, in that case, iniisip dapat natin kung safe ba siyang kunin at kung maganda ba siyang tignan sa ating presentation. So, those are things that for me, features or qualities of a good PowerPoint presentation. If you are good with that, for me, papanoorin ko yon. Or papanoorin ko yon o talagang antabayanan ko yung part na nagpe-present ka. Kasi I know that there's something new and something fresh about your presentation.
Ako, sir, I truly agree sa lahat ng sinabi mo. I've only heard now yung 7x7. Ang alam ko yung 6x6. Same lang din. 6 words, 6 lines. Meron din palang 7x7 rule. Indeed, kasi when I was first discovering the PowerPoint, parang it's easy na ma-hook dun sa, may mga ganitong animations, may ganitong designs, but it doesn't mean you need to use them all the time. It really depends sa ating audience and the overall context of the presentation. Speaking of designs, sir, there's a question here. Actually, I believe this is a DepEd teacher na nagtanong. And I think yun din yung kagandahan nitong mga webinar sessions natin kasi hindi siya from Bicol. I believe, saan ba Bacoor na po?
I think sa amin niya. I think kaklase ko to.
This is from a DepEd Bacoor teacher. DepEd teacher from Bacoor, si Ma'am Ruby Ann Cruz. Sabi niya, what's the easiest way to start, I believe this is a catchy, what's the easiest way to start a catchy PowerPoint presentation from blank?
Okay, actually, that is one of the most challenging part. Because as we deal with the blank canvas, we are surely vague on how we can start our presentation. Before, when we start our presentation, the Microsoft PowerPoint only offer us limited features. Bakit po? Wala silang binibigay na idea. Kung hindi kayo gagamit ng template, there will be no idea na pwedeng ibigay sa inyo si Microsoft PowerPoint. But now, the Microsoft PowerPoint can offer us a feature called Design Ideas. The Design Ideas automatically shows you when you're creating your slides. For example, when you want to copy a certain photo and then include text, there will be a suggestion. Wherein the Microsoft PowerPoint learns from your experiences using the design ideas and show your designs ideas at the appropriate time. So in that case, kahit blank canvas po pala ako gumawa, sir, I can have the design ideas. Mapapansin niyo yon sa inyo pong design tab, there will be a design ideas in which they will suggest you different ideas on how you can put the image of your slide, how you can put the fonts, how you include the font style and the font color. So in that case, kahit nasa blank canvas tayo, para na rin kayong gumamit ng isang templated na material, pero under the design ideas. So in that case, we may now consider na sobrang user-friendly siya at sobrang helpful siya in a way na si Microsoft PowerPoint pala ay meron na siyang ganong klaseng feature unlike before na talagang magsisimula ka sa simula. So that's one of the features that I might say that can help you as a teacher or help you as a presenter to create your presentation using the blank canvas. But now, sabi ko nga po, we are now dealing with different platforms. Sabi nyo nga po, you start utilizing other platforms wherein you can download images, you can use different templates from the internet and through the different platforms. So in that case, I think that's one way for you to use it and apply it in your Microsoft PowerPoint. Na later on ay magagamit nyo rin po sa mga susunod nyo po mga pagkakataon ng presentation.
Ayan. Thank you, sir. And speaking of templates, ito ang aside dun sa mga later on na questions, this is also one of the most common questions. Kasi, oo nga, mahirap magsimula from scratch. And ayun na, I've only listed a few here, pero sa totoo, sir, more than, di ba, for this episode, more than 170 ang nag-register and marami-rami doon. Itong tanong na gaya ni Christine Joyce Sarad na can you share some sources of PowerPoint templates that we can use? Sabi ni Nel Ann Balana, can we have more templates in PowerPoint? Sabi ni Rosabel Madea na ayun na where can she request for sample templates? So ikaw sir, with your experience using PowerPoint and integrating from other resources online or offline, so meron ba sila sir pwede mga bisitahin na website or application para they can have a startup, parang jump start para meron sila mga templates that they can use in their PowerPoint presentations po?
Ayan. Actually, you can search it in Google, Microsoft PowerPoint templates. But I want to share a certain Facebook page. Actually, I will share the collections of mine to you, Sir Kari, para ma-share po natin sa ating po mga audiences.
Sure, sir. Go ahead po.
Ang mangyayari kasi doon, we have the Bagtas PH. So, one of the Bagtas PH, if you're familiar with, is one of the one of the pages here in Facebook that I'm surely you can see dynamic and fantastic, okay po, templates through the help of Mr. Jervin Alejo and also to Angelica Agunot. So those are people who keep on sharing their expertise and also the templates in the Bagtas PH. And also, one of the seminars and webinars that we have attended in the DepEd EdTech unit ay nag-share sila ng templated or PowerPoint templates of the gamified application or gamified PowerPoints. Para si teacher or even yung future educators ay magamit nyo siya. Bakit po? Your creation or your imagination is your limit. So meaning, the Microsoft PowerPoint can offer us different features, but still you need to think and widen your imagination in dealing those shapes, dealing those animations and transitions. If that's so, mapapatagal ang paggagawa. Totoo po yun. Kasi po, it will take some time. Kasi nga po, it applies creativity. But through these different templates from Bagtas PH, ayan, Bagtas PH and also the DepEd EdTech unit, which I will share to you, Sir Kari, later on, you can see there a gamified PowerPoint presentation. Sa papalitan nyo na lang yung words, yung contents, but you can have the graphics and also the different animations as much as possible. So you may start using that one. But if you cannot utilize those things, there are so many templates available in the Microsoft Office 365 account. I'm not pretty sure if the Bicol University has their own Microsoft 365 account. Meron po ba?
Yes po sir, kaming students, we have our own email na nakapangalan sa school and yeah, they can sign up to the office.com website and yun, meron kaming Office 365.
Ayan. That's a good thing in one of the universities. Actually, na-enjoy ko rin siya. Bakit po? The universities apply for the Microsoft 365. And that's so you can install a genuine and legit Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft productivity tools in your own devices. And did you know na 15 devices po ang pwede nyo installan yan? 5 laptops, 5 desktops yun. And also 5 mobile phones and 5 tablets. Ganun po yung idea niya. So meaning, yung aking account, pwede ko po siya i-share sa iba. Kapag kasi kayo naka Microsoft Office 365, they can offer you different templates online because that is considered as a genuine account. So meaning, you can access the different resources available in the Microsoft. And that case, you may start working on those templates as much as possible. Kung kayo ay medyo napapaisip, kung maliban sa Google, saan po kami maaaring mag-download ng genuine templates. And also, I think Sir Malco discussed the Canva. There are so many templates there. If you utilizes your Canva account, you can download, I think naturo yun ni Sir Malco last week, you can download it and save it as a Microsoft PowerPoint. So in that case, you can now apply those templates available. Ngayon, hindi na tayo masyado namumblema kung saan tayo kukuha ng templates kasi nga po, we have so many applications or platforms that offer us free templates na hindi na tayo mahirapan mag-isip. Pero I will share the templates or the resources later on.
Yes po sir, thank you. And I believe since I'll be editing this episode, so baka maglagay na lang ako ng graphics dyan sa baba, and yung links mismo. And actually, I think I've encountered this Bagtas PH on a KTS webinar, a webinar from Kaagapay Teacher Support just a few weeks ago. And namangha ako sa present nilang mga templates na indeed very useful for teachers. And ayun din, ano lang na tayong students pag naging teacher in the field, of course, the own DepEd account, kaya ni na sir, ayun, making use of that DepEd account offers you the opportunity na i-maximize yung mga ganong features na binanggit ni sir. Ayun sir, eto po, this is an interesting parang kasunod na question. I've seen this online na excuse me, na indeed yun, there's a wide variety of templates. Yung iba naka-pattern na parang social media account, parang Facebook, parang Netflix, parang mga YouTube ang itsura. And si Cheryl Mejiliano asks na, is it advisable to use these 20 templates such as the social media, Netflix, and Spotify themes in the presentation po, sir?
Okay. For me, sabi ko nga po, since we are dealing with the 21st century learners and Generation Z na hindi na sila into text or to text-based presentation, we should adopt current events or trending themes which should relate your students. Bakit po? One way for us to capture our students' attention if they can relate on those templates that you created. Minsan nga kapag narinig lang nila yung tunog, they will catch or you can catch their attention. And it will arise their motivation to listen to you. As most especially, we are dealing with the distance learning, wherein we are not able to identify if those students are truly listening on us. Kasi iba doon, naka-off ng camera or naka-off ng microphone. So one way for you to at least to capture their presentation or their screen is through the usage of the trending templates. Such as yung sabi nyo nga po, we have the Netflix or the Spotify, in which this is much more effort as part of the teacher. Pero kapag nakagawa ka naman ito, katulad ng ginagawa ng Bagtas in the DepEd Ethic Unit, you can also share it to other people so that they can utilize your templates as much as possible if you want to share it. Bakit po? Kasi siyempre nga, tulungan tayo dito eh. So, yung mga nakuha natin dati, i-return lang natin sa community. So, kung dati siguro nakakuha tayo ng templates, siguro if we start crafting our own, you can share it to others para naman they can also share it to other endeavors or other professionals. Para sa gayon, we can also have an interaction with the other community as much as well.
Thank you, sir. And uh, I believe siguro if I may add din, I think magandang opportunity yun to integrate sa subject na tinuturo na if you're a music teacher, pwedeng Spotify ang theme or ituturo ka ng media and information literacy or yun you can use the Facebook theme. Yung mga it's really a matter of creativity, imagination, kung paano yung diskarte ng teacher.
Yes, naniniwala ko Sir Carrie doon na dapat naka-align siya sa learning competencies ng bata. Most especially now, we are dealing with the MELCs in the junior high school or in the basic education, which is in DepEd. Dapat naka-align lagi yung ating presentation doon po sa ating po mga learning competencies or ano ba yung gusto nating makuha ng bata na learning on our end as a teacher.
Thank you, sir. Naku, marami ng questions na nasagot ni sir. I hope all of you are liking this discussion so far. And siguro sir, the next set of questions here mostly mga yun again focusing on maximizing what PowerPoint kasi similar sa episode namin last time on Microsoft Word na marami sa atin are familiar with Word and PowerPoint as well. Pero yun, may mga kumbaga may mga ways to be more efficient in using PowerPoint and Word na hindi lang gano'n na discover or na-utilize ng mga students. And some parang mga troubleshooting na questions. I think, sir, maganda itong nasa baba from Charles Banyes na. And ako, I believe I've experienced this before, lalo nung hindi pa ganitong setup ng learning natin na in some instances, the attached video in a slide in PowerPoint does not play. How can we fix the video that is not playing in Microsoft PowerPoint? Sige po, sir. Anong tips natin yan?
Yeah, so I already experienced it before. Kailan ko po siya na-experience? When I transfer my PowerPoint presentation to other device, for example, sinend ko siya doon sa isang laptop, tapos yung video ko, hindi siya nakasave doon. So, nawawala yung source. So, that's one way na pwede nyo i-check. Baka kaya hindi siya nagpe-play kasi yung source ng video ay wala doon sa laptop na yon. So, that's one point for you. Another one is when we considering embedding a video inside our presentation, try to look if it's an MP4 or WMV para to check kung may compatibility issue. Kasi mamaya hindi pala siya compatible doon sa inyo pong laptops or sa inyo pong PowerPoint. So that you might consider. Kasi dati, syempre, we are dealing with the different versions. So we also dealing with the different formats as much as well. The higher the version, much better. Kasi nababasa niya lahat. Pero doon sa mga lower versions, doon natin mapapaisip kung applicable ba yung feature na yon para doon sa version na yon. Same idea with the video. Dati kasi, when you transfer a file, kapag hindi mo siya na-save, or yung video hindi mo siya na-save doon sa mismong computer din, naging missing siya. Pero ngayon, if you try to input or embed videos, kahit hindi nyo na siya isama doon sa mismong file, in that Microsoft Office 365, it will work. So meaning, merong discrepancy pagdating doon sa part na yon. So that is the second one. So always consider that first, kung nakasave pa siya doon sa inyong computer, and second, yung format niya. Kasi that is a one way for you to troubleshoot. Kapag hindi siya gumana, for example, sir, MP4 naman, try to convert it once again in online. Mamaya kasi merong mga discrepancy or merong mga corrupted na part doon sa video na pwedeng ma-convert pa or pwede pang ma-save through the conversion online. Ngayon, hindi naman kayo mahirapan na pagdating sa conversion eh. Kasi you can simply go to Google and then search MP4 or convert video to MP4 And then there will be a lot of online conversion. So that's one way for you to consider that when your video is not playing using the PowerPoint.
Ayan, sir. Thank you po. And ayun pala, so check the source and check for compatibility issues sa ating mga. And I believe, sir, kahit sa sa audio, I believe same ang mga troubleshooting natin for that.
Yes.
Opo. Isingit ko lang ito, sir, para to clarify lang din kasi sa lecture natin kanina, there were multiple features or tricks na naipakita niyo po yung presenter coach, slide zoom. Ask ko lang, sir, meron ba doon, sir, na need ba yung latest version? Meron ba need na online lang siya capable? Or pwede ba siya kahit sa mga medyo lumang version? Para po, sir, para ma-clarify and malaman ng mga PowerPoint users natin, sir.
Okay. I think the Zama Resume works on 2016. So way back 2016 version. So pwede siya. And then the Presenter's Coach, ngayon lang na siya, the Office 365. Yung isa, we have the record slideshow or record slideshow na pinakahalos dulo natin na-discuss. Working siya pagdating sa Office 365 accounts lang. So meaning, yung ibang version, 2016, 2013, hindi pa siya applicable. And also, yung ating pong part na kuntaan is screen recording, you can also work with it with the 2016 version. So, minsan makikita niyo yung part na yon pagdating sa mga tools na mga options. Diba, tinuruan ko kayo on how to input the tab in the recording kasi hindi siya visible agad by default. So in that case, we might consider those things if applicable siya. Pero sabi ko nga po, if you have your Office 365 accounts, enjoy and maximize it. Bakit po? Kasi that account or the Microsoft Office 365, dun po yung mga accounts na unang nire-roll out yung mga features. So meaning, kapag merong updates do sa features, papasok siya agad do sa mga naka-Office 365 accounts. Unlike kung kayo ay naka 2013 or 2016, so kung ano lang feature na yon, yun lang din yung makikita nyo doon. But unlike in the Microsoft 365, basta meron kayong genuine application or Office, makukuha nyo agad yung inyo pong mga latest updates as much as possible. Actually, nakapanood ko kay Ma'am Jinky last time. Parang nakaka-cameo si Ma'am Jinky one of the features. Ayan po, parang may ganun na ring feature pagdating ngayon kay Office 365 or Microsoft PowerPoint. Cameo is another tool. Hindi ko siya na-include kasi hindi pa siya applicable or visible do sa aking account. Pero that's one way for you to maximize your Microsoft PowerPoint. So meaning, yung bawat version po, we might consider na meron siya nadadagdag ng bagong features. And from the 2013, 2016 up to the latest, 2019 I think, 2019 and the Microsoft 365, you can work on those platforms. Kaya lang, syempre may limitation. Sabi ko nga kanina, hindi siya applicable yung ibang feature doon sa lower version. So that's one of the case that we should always consider.
Opo, kasi yun sir na not all laptops are capable of running PowerPoint. Syempre the higher the version, syempre mas kailangan ng mas updated rin yung model ng laptop. And I believe I think minimum na yung 2016 na karamihan doon sa mga features ay ma-access na if wala mang 365, if di ma-access yung 365 ng mga users. So if they have at least PowerPoint or Office version 2016. Sige po, sir. Yun, kasi sa amin, our webinar series, aim namin na ma-feature yung big three, kumbaga sa Office, the basic Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. So, again po, if may mga new viewers dito, I'll just send links saan nyo makikita yung recently sa Word. And, sir, moving forward, yun po, kasi similar kay Ma'am Jinky, nag-ask ako na ano yung mga parang maliliit lang na bagay na hindi pinapansin, hindi hindi na-utilize ng mga gumagamit ng mga students and kahit teachers, pero helpful siya in PowerPoint. So, in Word sa kanya rather. So, kayo po sir, sa PowerPoint, this is questions din from Erica Luisa Ludovice, Vince Charles Cambusa, and Eunice Angeline Donato na ano pa sir ang mga tips, kahit mga maliliit lang, but are truly helpful and useful for both students and teachers alike in PowerPoint, sir. Go ahead po.
Okay. PowerPoint, sabi nga natin, we are dealing with the different animations and transitions. One way for me, kung mapapansin nyo po, hindi siya ganun makikita nyo agad eh. In terms of the animation, you can select it and change its effects options. Hindi siya halata sa iba. Hindi siya ginagamit. Nagsisettle kasi tayo doon sa part na kung saan doon lang tayo sa animation. But did you know that there are also effect options available? In the effect options available, you can change the sequence of the animation. So, saan nyo po makikita yon? You can go to the animations and then when you select it, you can see there in the animation tab. Ayan, sa animation tab natin, makikita nyo po doon yung effect options. That's one way for you na hindi nagagamit commonly. Bakit po? You will try to create your animation, pero hindi natin minsan napapalitan kung paano siya lalabas, kung paano ba siya i-manage, or paano ba siya na-navigate, or ma-manipulate. So that's one way for you, the effect options. The other one na hindi masyadong nagagamit pa ng ating mga teachers is the screen recording. Actually, that's one of the feature of the Microsoft PowerPoint that I truly likes. Bakit po? Before, one of the problems that I have is how to record my screen. Sabi ko nga po yung kanina sa video. In a way, na kung saan ay nagda-download pa ako ng third-party applications. If you are using Camtasia before, if you're familiar with that application, I try to download it and then at least do the crack. Parang makakuha ko po yung free version niya. But in the Microsoft PowerPoint, they can have the screen recording. So meaning, you don't need to install the third-party applications just to do those tasks. In that case, you are capable on working on that software in which hindi na kayo mamumblema sa installer. That's one way for me. Another one na gusto ko sa screen recording, sabi ko nga po, is working with the different platforms na gusto ko nare-record siya. So for example, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina that if you want to show demonstration of how to navigate these things, you can screen record. So that is one way for you. Especially now, we are facing some problem and difficulties in working our Meet recording sa Google Meet. That's one way for us to deal with those problems. I can do the screen recording as much as possible. And also, one way for me na hindi nagagamit pa ng mga teachers is the embedding fonts. Embedding fonts, sabi ko nga sa last part, is when you want your presentations na hindi na i-download, or sorry, yung presentation nyo ay hindi ma-disoriented or hindi ma-misalign pagdating po sa ibang mga laptops. You can embed the fonts as much as possible. In that case, hindi na nila problemahin mag-download pa nung font na dinownload nyo or ginagamit nyo. Kasi sabi ko nga po, I'm into downloading more fonts para po magamit ko siya at ma-present ko yung aking presentation in as much an effective and most aesthetic way. Parang ganun ko po siya tinitingnan. So, other than that, yung mga diniscuss ko kanina are just few of advanced features that is not commonly used by other people. Maybe some of it nagagamit, pero most of it ay hindi. Hindi natin siya masyadong nagagamit. And I hope that this webinar will make you realize how powerful our Microsoft PowerPoint. Kasi we are not just using it as a simple slideshow, but also using it in working with other tasks that we need to do. So there are so many applications, there are so many features of the Microsoft PowerPoint. Try to explore further yung tabs, yung ribbon tab. Marami pa po kayo makikita doon. So ayun po. So that's how I see the Microsoft PowerPoint working with the other features.
Sige sir. Actually sir, eto na. Ito na yung hinold back ko kanina. And aside dun sa templates, sir, na question kanina, the participants are asking truly, how can we make interactive PowerPoint presentations, gamified PowerPoint presentations? I would like to i-shout out ko lang itong mga mga participants, si Abigail Alba, Jasrin Banzale, Divine Decano, JR Lucila, Mary Claire Benson, Harwen Noel, and Miss Sara Maraño. Ano ba sir ang mga, kasi how can we make use of PowerPoint in making those interactive, creative, and gamified presentations? If it's purely PowerPoint, need ng add-ons, extensions, ano po sir ang pwede nating advice or tip?
Okay. Before, para masabi natin that you can create interactive and gamified PowerPoint, we try to utilize the hyperlinks. Yung hyperlinks, kapag pinindot ko yung isang button na to, or isang shape na to, or object na to, mapupunta siya sa kabilang slide. That's how we see gamified PowerPoint. So meaning, we as the presenter, kami yung magkocontrol dun sa part na yon. Tapos minsan, yung aming pong mga participants sa lapit, just to try. However, that is a pre-pandemic days. So meaning, ngayon, hindi mo siya pwedeng gawin na. Hindi mo na pwedeng palapitin yung bata, yung audience nyo, sa inyong laptops, para sila ay mag-navigate doon. So, one way for you to utilize is what do we call as the class point. Siguro, I will just share the website of the class point so that you can see the idea of it. And po, so this is the website of the ClassPoint. So as you can observe, you can go to classpoint.io wherein you can download it for free. Pero syempre, since this is for free, you will experience minimum, okay, or minimal features. For example, mga 5 questions lang ang pwedeng gawin or 5 interactive platforms. However, we will try to at least empower or enhance our presentation by just creating a creative and interactive quiz in PowerPoint. There are so many features of the ClassPoint. I think this is much better if we can have the discussion it in the separate webinar session, if it's possible. But the Microsoft can have these add-ons in which you can create an interactive presentation by just using the add-ons of it. So as you can observe, you can annotate and create a whiteboard. You can also deal with the multiple choices, short answers, image uploading, and others. Before, Microsoft PowerPoint, parang idea niya is self-centered or teacher-centered before. But now, by just using these add-ons, you can be a student-centered presenters. Bakit po? Because you can ask your participants to keep on answering those activities in the real-time scenario. Parang synchronous activities. Parang mag-join sila sa isang code and then they will see a certain job or a certain activity such as the following. Hindi ko siya nagamit sa ngayon. Okay po, kasi we have the pre-recorded. Yet, we try to consider it in the next few days or in the in our next sessions, I think, para kahit paano we have an interaction as much as possible. Kasi yung sa presentation ko kanina, I just purely ask you to keep on answering a certain question. But now, in this case, you can try other type of items or other type of questions as much as possible. We have the classpoint.io. The classpoint.io, just like what I said, it is a free platform. But just like what I tell you a while ago, since this is free, it just offers you limited features as might as well. For example, under the pricing of free, 5 questions per PPT, so 25 maximum class size. So if we are dealing with 50 students, since we are in public school and we are dealing with 50 students, so ang ginagawa namin doon is somehow binababaan namin lang yung class size. For example, okay, first 25 lang muna sa sali, tapos another meeting, yung another 25 para ma-enjoy nila. But also, in ClassPoint, hindi lang naman ganun ang kaya niyang i-offer. They can offer you also a community wherein you can be a ClassPoint educator. And kung papala rin, diba? You can be a ClassPoint trainer as well, diba? Parang hindi ka lang isang future educator but you may be a ClassPoint trainer or educator. So in that case, you can also enjoy more features as much as possible. So meron ditong feature or meron ditong community in the Philippines na pwede nyo po gamitin sa ClassPoint. Actually, inuumpisahan na siya ng DepEd EdTech Unit at ng KTS. I think the Kaagapay Teacher Support ay nag-uumpisa na sa ClassPoint. You can join on that webinar sessions upang sa gayon, you have an idea on how to deal with the ClassPoint. This is a very good platform for you if you want to deal with interactive classroom, most especially in this distance learning na kung saan si teacher ay nagtuturo online at si bata ay nasa kanilang mga bahay. So that is about the ClassPoint. Sabi ko nga po, ClassPoints can offer us different features and more webinars to come or more sessions to come under the KTS or the Kababay and the DepEd EdTech Unit. So
Ayan,
that is the
sir,
ClassPoint.
indeed, namangha ako and ako po personally, prior to this session, I've already discovered ClassPoint. Actually, through KTS, i-share ko lang din na currently, as of the recording of this session, ang Kaagapay Teacher Support with Sir Franco Adon and his fellow administrators are currently spearheading this ClassPoint series. I believe, sir, baka nag-attend ka rin, sir, sa ibang session. Ako rin, I've attended all of these so far. Na-intriga ako. I really find it interesting that na such a powerful tool ang ClassPoint for our sessions, PowerPoint sessions with students. And ayan, itong webinar natin na Teacher Techie is for this afternoon is really kulang na in time na talagang maipakita ano yung capacity, ano yung kaya ng PowerPoint and ClassPoint and all the various resources that we have para truly we can have more power to our presentations. Ayan, sir. Actually, naubos na, sir, ang ating mga questions for this session, but siguro just to round out the session, itong Q&A. And tinatanong ko rin ito sa mga previous nating mga guests sa ating series. Na given na 2 years na tayong nasa pandemic, and ako I am a 4th year student. By the recording of this session, I may have already started my internship. Yung mga kasama ko rin, kaklase ko rin. And yun, yung mga lower year levels ay magiging future teachers din. So, ikaw, sir, you've experienced pre-pandemic teaching and currently pandemic teaching. So, what is your advice sa amin, sir, sa mga students na yun, paano namin haharapin ang aming career, ang aming profession given such challenges po?
Syempre, as future educators, you should immerse yourselves in mastering different educational technology platforms. Sabi nga nila, you cannot give what you do not have. So in that case, as a trainer, as one of the trainees, sabi nga natin, lahat kayo ay nasa work mode pa, kumbaga, ng pagtatrabaho kung paano kayo maging teacher. Dito, masusukat sa teaching profession kung ano-ano talaga ang matututunan nyo. So meaning, hindi kayo magti-train doon sa teaching profession. What you're going to do, you should be trained and capable enough in using those applications as much as possible. Why we keep on saying this? Because in this new normal education system, it already lead us to deal with different learning modalities, such as online learning modalities. In this case, hindi na natin maaalis yung katotohanan na hindi tayo babalik doon sa totally 100% face-to-face session. So as you go forward your teaching profession, expect that you will be the one who you should take initiatives on learning different platforms to use and share it to others. You as a fresh graduate or new educators, you're expected hindi to pressured, but you are expected to have those skills as much as possible Bakit po? Kasi if you will not take an initiative on working on these platforms or different platforms, there will be some gaps between you and dealing with the pandemic. So in that case, kapag pumasok kayo sa teaching profession, dapat kayo ay talagang equipped at kayo po ay handa na to earn and to give what you know to our dear students. Most especially, ang ating mga estudyante, kinoconsider natin na digital natives in which they are born surrounded by technology. Tama po ba? So meaning, kung si bata, mas magaling pang gumamit sa atin ng gadget, parang nakakaiyak or nakakabagabag sa damdamin nyo na parang, okay, medyo parang nakakahiya kung hindi ko siya magamit or may turo. So that case, dapat kayo ay equipped. But I'm not totally saying, okay, na pinipressure ko kayo. But you as a future educators, you should immerse on those things or expect those realities in life. But since you are always equipped, sabi nga natin, you are expected to be equipped, try to share it also to others. Hindi lang kayo dapat na magaling. Dapat ang kagalingan nyo ay nababahagi nyo sa iba. Not only to your students, but also with your fellow educators. So, hindi kayo dapat madamot sa mga learnings and exercise skills na meron kayo. So, in that case, you can have a harmonious relationship, especially now that we are dealing with the pandemic. So, I hope that this session ay naging isa sa mga tunay or buhay na patunay na learning is in the continuous process. Na hindi natatapos lang siya sa klase nyo, sa subject nyo, sa professional subject nyo, bagkus you should always take a chance to learn more and achieve more, especially in this new normal setup. So I hope that you earn something in this session to become a professional teacher someday, most especially our graduates or malapit na graduates. Ayan po, ang mga matatapos na for the demonstration teaching at ang kanila po mga off-campus teaching. So I hope that you can apply this session and also the previous sessions in your future endeavors.
Ayan. That's what a nice way to close off the session. Again, Sir Dennis, thank you so much po for gracing us with your time and expertise in PowerPoint. And yun, sa ating mga viewers, feel free to show your love and appreciation. Kahit pre-recorded ito, don't worry. Papanoorin to ni Sir Dennis, papanoorin namin ito. And truly, we appreciate all of your positive feedback for this episode.
As much as we would like to continue this session, I believe that we are at the end of our episode. Thank you so much, Sir Dennis, for gracing us with your time and expertise for today's session. For the Council to further show its appreciation, here is Mylene Sulatan, BUCE CSC Secretary, to award the certificate.
Good day, everyone. Allow me to present the e-certificate to our resource speaker for this afternoon's event. The e-certificate reads as follows: Certificate for your appreciation, Republic of the Philippines, Bicol University, College of Education, College Student Council. The certificate is proudly presented to Sir Dennis J. Gumboc for imparting valuable insights during the Teacher Techie episode, MS PowerPoint 104, How to Add More Power to Your Presentation, given this 26th of February 2022. Signed, Kerry Dominic A. Abihuro, Executive Chairman, Teacher Techie, President, BUCE College Student Council, Dr. Jocelyn F. Goyana, Advisor, BUCE College Student Council, College Student Activities Coordinator, BUCE, and Dr. Lorna N. Minya, Dean, Bicol University College of Education. To Sir Dennis, it is an honor to award you this e-certificate. Ikaw ay isang tatak Teacher Techie.
Indeed. Words are not enough, sir, na ma-express ang pasasalamat namin po to have you in this session. Hopefully, sir, yung mga yun, sir, this session is yan? Tip of the iceberg lang talaga, sir, ng PowerPoint. Marami pa talagang possibilities, features na pwedeng gamitin ng teachers and students.
Yes. Actually, sir, siguro dagdag ko kanina. The Microsoft PowerPoint Associate ay merong mga domains. If you will try to become a Microsoft Office Specialist PowerPoint Associate, you need to pass the standards of how you work with the PowerPoint. So, yung standards na yun ay hindi yung standards lang na basta-basta. Talagang inisa-isa ang bawat domain na meron po sa Microsoft PowerPoint. And also, I would like to take this opportunity, Sir Kari, to thank you or give thanks para po sa inyong invitation para sa ating session na ito. And also with the support of Dr. Goyana and also Dr. Minya of the Bicol University College of Education. Sobrang blessed po ako to be part of this session. Napakalayo namin actually, in Cavite kami. Pero napalipad ako papuntang Bicol via virtual. And I'm so blessed to be part of these endeavors. I'm looking forward to see more Teacher Tech episodes with you, the Bicol University. I'm looking forward na those things that you learned this afternoon ay magagamit nyo po sa mga susunod nyo po pong mga pagkakataon at mga trabahong gagawin. Maraming salamat.
Once again, thank you so much, Sir Dennis, for being with us for this session. To our audience, let us show our thanks and appreciation to Sir Dennis. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Also, flashed now is the QR code and link to access the evaluation form for today's episode. A friendly reminder that answering this evaluation form will serve as your attendance to this event and will also be your ticket in receiving your certificate of participation. The evaluation form will be open for the rest of the next week only, with the dates flashed on screen. The certificate of participation will be distributed 2 to 4 weeks after the closing of the evaluation form link. As a closing remark, I would like to leave you with an excerpt from a Forbes article by Carman Gallo. I share 3 essential components of all successful presentations. By successful, I mean presentations that accomplish their intended effect: to move people to action, to close a sale, to receive project funding, etc. Successful presentations are understandable, memorable, and emotional. In behalf of the BUCE College Student Council and the Teacher Techie Executive Head, Mr. Kari Dominic Abihuro, I would like to thank everyone for participating in our Teacher Techie episode. This has been your host, Kenneth De La Cruz. Make sure to follow the official social media accounts of the BUCE College Student Council, and we'll see you in our next Teacher Techie episode.
This is the school we wish to see. a school to honor and revere, a temple built by men of firmness, a mold for you to walk with pride, for He will always be united, although we tread on distant lands. We all shall cherish what you've taught us, that you